Hello everyone, it's the Historical Gamer once again, and today we are taking a look at a brand new game that just came out today. I've had this game for a little while. I've put several hours into it. We actually had a single malt strategy podcast episode about the game the other day. But this is going to be my first beginning of trying to play a campaign all the way through. I'm a couple missions into the campaign in my first attempt through. You can see here we're not going to resume. This is actually going to be my first look, the beginning of my first look series of Battlestar Galactica Deadlock. It's the newest game out, published by Slitherine, I believe also Matrix Games. It is produced by Black Lab Studios, I believe. You can see here down here. And it is officially greenlit and approved by Universal Cable Productions, LLC. So this is, as much as canon exists for the Battlestar Galactica universe, this is canon to the reimagined series of Battlestar Galactica. This is a game, a strategy, really a tactical war game, a tactical space war game, which looks at a hypothetical, well, not hypothetical, which looks at the first Cylon War. So in the Battlestar Galactica universe, the reimagined series in the early 2000s took place in the second Cylon War. The first war occurred, I think, like 30 years-ish earlier than the TV series took place, and it was the initial uprising of the Cylons against the humans. Think Terminators, machines rising up to put down humans, and these Cylons basically built a massive fleet, and there was this massive space war between robots and humans of the 12 colonies, 12 separate planets, which were aligned to fight against the Cylons. This game takes place 4 years in to the first Cylon rebellion. The war is somewhat stalemated, I believe, is kind of my understanding of it, and the humans are starting to bring online the Battlestars, the first really sort of heavy capital warships which can be used effectively against the Cylons. So with that being said, we're going to jump in. We're going to go ahead and take a look at a new campaign. The game has, from what I've seen so far, a pretty heavy story element to it, but there's a little bit of openness as well to the way things can develop. With that being said, let's go ahead and jump in. We will play at the commander rank. This will be the standard or normal difficulty. We won't play against the super heavy difficulty. We won't play at the beginner. We will play at the commander level. So this is kind of normal. Some tutorials were completed in previous game. Do you want to reset these tutorials? Yes, mainly because I just kind of want to show you guys how this campaign, a true experience of opening this campaign, exists. So the game gives you a nice little intro of the war. I'll just kind of step back and let you enjoy it here.
And the lifetimes of our children. They could not have predicted the Cylon Rebellion less than 30 years later. The worst conflict in colonial history, and we are at a stalemate. No foothold gained that isn't lost again within weeks. The Jupiter Project was supposed to be our ace in the hole, the largest, most powerful Battlestars ever created. Each of the 12 colonies were promised one, in return for signing the Articles of Colonization.
So this is what the Battlestar looked like in the reimagined series. That's what Galactica looked like.
Was Caprica's crowning glory. It went missing 2 weeks after deployment. Athena, the 5th ship to be completed, belongs to Pycon. We were days away from delivering it when we heard the news. Pycon's capital cities were devastated by Cylon assault fleets. Among them, our own colonial fleet headquarters. There was no chance to intervene. Command of Colonial Fleet has fallen to Rear Admiral Kane. Our mobile shipyard, Daedalus, has become the ad hoc fleet headquarters. As Kane's XO aboard Daedalus, you have been promoted to Operations Commander of the entire Colonial fleet. Kane intends immediate retaliation for the attack on Pycon. The war room awaits your arrival, Commander.
So that's a nice little intro into this. I'm not sure how long this takes place after the prequel series of Caprica, which was sort of a very short-lived series on Sci-Fi, which came out after the reimagined series. As you can tell here, the war is not going well. The original fleet headquarters on Pycon was destroyed. The first Battlestar has gone missing, and the rest of them are obviously not completed yet.
Pycon's Battlestar is almost ready to deliver, but Sinan says it can't make an independent jump until the fuel lines have stabilized. Kane's orders are to jump Daedalus to Pycon with the Battlestar Athena attached ASAP. That means we have to clear the scouts here or risk telegraphing our movements to the entire Cylon fleet. I'll prep the deck crews for the jump while you deal with the toasters. Good hunting, Commander.
Okay, so the first mission is going to be basically just a basic mission of destroying a couple of Cylon scouts around where the Athena and our mobile shipyard are located in order so that we can jump without the Cylons knowing exactly where we're going. You know, if we jump right in front of scouts, obviously they'll have a bead on our location. This game, I don't know how it takes place after Caprica. I thought the Articles of Confederation were signed before Caprica, but I could be wrong. Anyway, guys, I'm going to go ahead and jump in, and we're just going to kind of get fighting here. So this is kind of the main screen, if you will, the operations room. You've got the different colonies here. There's 12 separate humanoid or human colonies located around, I don't know if this is 4 stars or just 4 systems on the map here. This is Daedalus. This represents our mobile shipyard, but essentially there's a group of 12 separate and independent planets with human populations that have all come together to fight against the Cylon threat, which again is kind of similar to like a Terminator's type threat. This is the area where you're going to kind of see all the in-between battle screens. It's supposed to be some kind of command center, and this is the operations map in front of you that shows you all sorts of different planets and what have you. It doesn't look like as I hover my mouse over it, it really tells me anything about them, although I can obviously select them. There is some decision making that occurs on this map later in the campaign where you've got to make decisions around, do you want to fight battles? You can have automatically resolved battles similar to like Rome Total War, or how you want to manage your fleet. Right now we don't have any of those options because right now we're playing through the tutorial missions or the beginning of the campaign, and this is Chapter 1, the battle, I guess, of Daedalus. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to jump in, and you'll see here this beautiful art here, the Viper Mark IIs, those space fighters, and the Battlestar Galactica right here. All very clearly drawn directly from the Universal reimagined series of the early 2000s. All of these exactly model the official series.
In this war, Commander.
Okay.
You won't need my instruction twice. Tell your ships to move full speed towards the enemy.
Okay, so this kind of gives you, again, this is a bit of a tutorial. Lucinda Kane is the commander of the Colonial Fleet, and what I will say is that I don't think it's relation to Admiral Kane from the reimagined series, because that Kane is too young, but it's clearly, I don't know if it's a family member or what have you. You can see here there's sort of these unidentified markers over here, unidentified contacts. Is there just the one? I can't remember if there's more than one or just the one. Looks like there's just the one. So there's one unidentified contact over here. Fair bet it's a Cylon. I haven't experienced any scenarios yet in this game where it isn't the Cylons if there's an unidentified contact. You can speed up or slow down your ship by kind of dragging the mouse forward or back. So the further forward you move it, the faster you move, the further back, the slower you're moving. And anytime you issue a movement order, that's kind of how it starts. So you click on your unit, then you click on where it's going to be, its projected course. This is where it will be at the end of your turn. Then you go ahead and direct it where you want it to go. Once you left click to say that's where you want it to go, you're then given the choice of either lowering or raising its z-axis. So if you think about kind of its altitude in space, because again, space combat is very much 3D. Additionally, you can change the facing of your ship if you want it to turn right, if you want it to turn left. In this case, we're going to kind of take the high ground, go at high altitude, go straight at this unidentified contact. The other ship here is going to come in a little bit lower, and these are both just kind of like Manticore ships. These are smaller space combat ships. I kind of like to think of them as frigates. So you can see here, we move our units, we issue our orders, and then we go ahead and
Our
hit
ships
end
use fire
turn.
control systems to automatically target and fire on any hostiles that move within range.
And then
Turrets will be less accurate.
I'm just kind of
smaller,
letting
further away
Lucinda
they're
Kane
targeted.
kind of speak. You can see here,
You can
battle
access the
is
ship's fire control and
shut
check
up.
on its
I should have
fire
undone
solutions for yourself.
the tutorial. And then you kind of results occur in real time. So it's almost like the original combat mission where you issue orders, and then those orders are followed out in real time after the fact. After you issue the orders, you get to kind of watch it as it unfolds. We're going to kind of keep this ship coming in high. We'll have this other guy come in kind of here more directly on the same plane as the enemy. You can see your ships do fire automatically at the enemy we can hit space here as the game's encouraging us to, and we can choose turrets and tell them what we want them to shoot at as well. It will automatically kind of do whatever whatever it thinks is best from a targeting perspective. If you don't do anything, it will shoot at the enemy. But you can improve or lower your odds or whatever by choosing certain tactics. This game is very much a tactical space combat game. All right, so we'll go ahead and end the mission here. And you can see here we've got turrets firing on the enemy from two different directions. They are hitting its hull. You can see its hull, its front armor. God damn it.
Sir, we've got a new Dratus contact.
Dratus is space radar, by the way. So apparently there's another...
IFF confirms the contact is a Cylon corvette. Scanning for further intelligence.
Thank you, Agathon. Anyway, so you can see here that there's an enemy vessel here that just jumped in. We've already identified it as hostile. If you hover your mouse over a unit, it will give you its strength. So right now, this Manticore strength is 60. This other one is 60. Neither one of these appear to have taken any damage. The Cylon vessel, on the other hand, its hull strength is down to 37. Its front armor is down to 0. And what have you. Now, if we were going to collide with the enemy, I think it would tell us if we're going to collide with the enemy, but it doesn't seem to be. You can collide with ships in space, by the way. I think we might be below it, actually. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and try and take this guy out right away, so I'm actually going to go ahead and choose this ship. I want it... slow it down a bit. Oh god, it won't let me do what I wanted to do. I guess.
These Cylon corvettes won't hold up to sustained fire.
Okay.
Position turrets on one side to punch through their armor and destroy the hull.
So this is actually going to be a little bit of a challenge because as we pass the enemy ship, its frontal armor is at 0, but as we pass it, we're going to be presented with its side armor, which we haven't really damaged yet. So I'm going to try and take it out early by using some guided missiles here from both of our ships. Ships do carry guided missiles. You can actually change the loadout of a ship between battles, which we'll get to a little bit later in the campaign. But as you see here, we're going to fire missiles from both of our ships here at the enemy during this particular turn. And the enemy also fired missiles here, and those circled around. And I wonder if we're too close in for them to effectively hit us. I'm not sure. But
your ships don't seem to be performing as well as they should. They may have system damage that's been overlooked.
So one other thing you can do also is you take damage during battles on your ships, and you can also schedule or order repairs. So just as you can issue orders to fire missiles, which have a cooldown, by the way, you can also issue orders to aim your turrets, and you can issue orders to repair your ships as well. So if you hit repair, you can see here navigation, tech bay, fire control, engineering, armory. There's all sorts of different subsystems that can be repaired. You can see our tech bay is the one that's taken a little bit of damage, so we can go ahead and issue an order to repair it. The enemy has lost all of its front armor. It's now also lost all of its rear armor and is nearly destroyed. So we'll go ahead and issue those orders. You'll see our turrets will continue shooting, and the enemy vessel just exploded and was destroyed. Its rear armor was gone, and so those weapons were hitting it without any armor, and it broke apart. You can see here the other vessel hasn't really taken any damage yet. Ours have taken a little bit of damage to their rear, but they're now actually presenting their front to the enemy, so there's not really any risk at the moment. You can hit the M key. I haven't gotten far enough in the campaign where this tactical map matters much, but you can take a look at the whole battlefield by hitting M and zooming out. Now you can see we have two ships coming in close. They're on different altitudes, though, different planes, different Z planes. So you know, for what that's worth, we're going to go ahead and lower this guy. Meanwhile, we're going to keep this guy at a higher altitude, so we're kind of coming in stacked up here, if you will. We're still cooling off in terms of our guided missiles. It looks like it's going to be 2 more turns before those are ready to fire again. So we'll just kind of keep relying on the turrets here, as our turrets automatically, you can see, I never told them to shoot at this guy, but they're just automatically shooting here. And you can see his front armor's gone, and now his hull is taking all of that damage. He's trying to turn, probably, to cause us to, you know, hit his side armor instead, but we're just going to kind of fast forward and keep going. Our ship's guided missiles are still, you know, not replenished yet. Meanwhile, his hull is dramatically dropping down. He is almost destroyed. He's down to less than 10 or less than 15 hull. The one bad thing is we're about to pass him, so again, we're going to have to kind of circle around, and essentially that means we're going to start hitting armor that hasn't been disrupted yet.
So say we all.
You may be wondering, looking at these 3D graphics, can ships collide? Yes, they definitely can. You can see, it seems to me that guided missiles always hit their target, by the way. That missile just kind of circled around. I don't realize I issued orders to be quite that evasive.
Understood.
So the enemy missiles all hit with one exception. I guess we'll see if that other one comes around. I feel like they always end up hitting their targets. And that one did as well. So now we're shooting at the enemy whose rear armor is being hit here. Or actually, it looks like his left armor. So we're going to kind of speed up here. We'll go click this. We'll drag it all the way to the left and try and speed up. Now, I do feel like in larger battles, this can get a little bit clunky. That's just my perception here. And you can see at longer ranges, while missiles always seem to hit their targets, clearly turrets do not. They're hitting a fair amount, but you could see they're at a little bit longer range. Quite a few rounds are sailing by the enemy. And the enemy continues to maneuver here to try and limit our ability to hit him. Remember, this is the first mission, so the enemy is pretty incompetent in terms of his ability to hurt you. He's not really doing much in the way of evasive or even really shooting back much. But you can see there it just broke up, so we just won the battle.
We recorded a vid feed of the battle if the commander would like to replay the fleet's performance.
Okay. And while I did mention that it seems like missiles always do hit their target, you can intercept missiles either with flak batteries, I believe, with regular Battlestars, or with fighters. You can use fighters to shoot down incoming missiles. So you can see here we just won the first battle. We are now back out to the main screen. You can see we earned some time and some RP, which I assume is like reputation. I assume time is supposed to be like Tilium, which is kind of the fuel or some kind of resource here. We're back out to the strategy map here, and we've now got a little blinking icon down here. We can go ahead and click on it and initiate mission 2.
Her stomping boots on. Started shelling out orders before she'd even finished sticking the Admiral pin to her jacket. She's out to prove she's ready for the top job of Colonial Fleet. Can't feel good to earn that promotion off the back of your superior's bad luck. But we've all lost someone in this war, I guess. My sister was on Galactica before it disappeared. Pycon's government is blaming Kane for not delivering Athena earlier. Both she and Sinan won't be happy until we've delivered all 12 of the Jupiters to the colonies. Well, at least we'll get to see Athena clear out some toasters before we hand her over to Pycon. Daedalus is ready to jump on your command, sir.
Okay, so you can see here that's the briefing here for Mission 2. The FTL drive for Jupiter-class battleship Athena is not yet complete. Cylon cleanup crews are expected at the LZ, but reports show most of the assault fleets have already left the area. If we win this mission here, you can see here we'll get rewards of 310 Tilium and 175 requisition points. That goes to allowing you to do things like build ships, promote officers, work on your economy, or gain blueprints. All of that is stuff we will run into later in the campaign. You can see here we can click on Fleet Group Dadlios, and we can go ahead and hit jump. So this fleet currently exists in this sector here over in Helios Gamma. We need to jump it to the area we want it to go to. So we can go ahead and choose where we want to jump it to. The game is walking us through that we want to go to Helio Alpha and we want to jump to Pycon. So we're jumping to Pycon, and we'll go ahead and confirm jump, and then we'll see the the fleet will jump from this location over here to this location. Looks to me like, by the way, there's 4 principal stars that the colonies are located around. So we'll go ahead and hit end turn, and you'll see here the fleet jumped to this new location, and we're about to fight the second battle, the Title 2 or Chapter 2 of Athena. So if we go ahead and proceed, again, this is all sort of the introductory battles in the campaign, so we're certainly not very far into the campaign yet. This is Mission 2, and at this point the game is still really working you through learning how to play. So here you can see here you click on your unit projections to reposition your fleet during the FTL insertion. Orbit the FTL insertion grid by holding right mouse button. So we've got 2 ships in our fleet. We've got 2 Manticore corvettes, which we fought last battle with. We can choose where we want them to jump on this 3D plane. Obviously, we don't want them to land with the Dadlio shipyard carrier, which apparently our shipyard has faster than light transport ability. But we can go ahead and we can tell our fleet to jump in here, and we can actually tell our to group our ships. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have both of my corvettes jump in. Oh, actually, maybe we do this. Have them both jump in on top of each other. So within the same section, but one has a higher altitude than the other, kind of stacking them. On the left side, the Dadlio Ship Center can kind of move over here as well. I guess we'll put it at a higher plane as well. So you can see here, this is the jump sector. We're jumping out in front of the shipyard. We're approaching Pycon, which I assume is this planet over here. We've got unidentified contacts to our front. That's what this little red dot with sort of a gold circle represents. There's also some contacts off to our left. But there's actually, it looks like we're jumping into kind of a hornet's nest of 3 unidentified contacts here, all as we approach Pycon. But that's why we're keeping our ships together, and we're keeping our shipyard behind them. I wouldn't want to scatter these guys and have them go one-on-one. If we can maybe pick one enemy target at a time and destroy each in piecemeal, that would be ideal. So we'll go ahead and hit done.
Prepare to jump in 3.
And we'll see us jump in.
1. Jump complete.
Captain, I actually like the Galactica with kinetic weapons. I think kinetic weapons in space to me seem more interesting than lasers.
Some would see Colonial Fleet fail. Ensure we succeed.
No pressure, sir. No pressure at all.
Okay, so you can see here we jumped in. As we kind of move the camera around, you right-click and drag your mouse around to move the camera. What I'm going to do here is for both of these vessels, I'm going to go ahead and swing them wide right.
Yes, sir.
And I'm going to have them both deal with the enemy threat on our right flank first, and we'll kind of sweep left. I'm assuming Dadlios can kind of fend for itself. Additionally, you can see here we've got the Battlestar Jupiter in tow, and we'll move her out as... Actually, let's do this.
Yes, sir.
Let's move the Jupiter out to the left, and we'll have the Athena put up a flak battery to help protect itself. So we'll leave this kind of on its own. I'm assuming these are going to be enemy corvettes again. We'll leave our kind of fast corvettes out here to deal with the threat toward the front, and we'll leave the Battlestar back here to defend the shipyard, because we certainly don't want that getting damaged. You can see here these ships are all moving. This is the Battlestar Athena. We can go ahead and zoom in on it if we want to get a good look. You can see here just a gorgeous looking Battlestar.
Ships are not lifeless assets to needlessly throw at the enemy, Commander.
Really?
Adjust a ship's posture to tailor the crew's tactics so that you can match whatever opposition you encounter.
So it's telling us you can change your posture of a ship. So if we go ahead and hit this, we can choose posture. We can make it a defensive posture. We can make it an aggressive posture. It affects how your subsystems function. So in this case, I'm actually going to set the Athena to 3 defensive traits.
Brace for impact.
Brace for impact. Who are you colliding with? Mainly because I just want to kind of provide some cover for this ship. Providing cover to the shipyards. Meanwhile, our other guys are going over here, and they're apparently bracing for impact. We're going to go ahead and set our turrets to target, focus fire on this enemy threat. Not that it really matters in this case. Focus fire matters a little bit more when you're got multiple enemy threats within, the same sort of area. But right now, both of our ships are kind of closing on the enemy. I'm hoping there's no collision. Maybe that's why I was saying brace for impact. So I guess we'll slow these guys down. Keep him at high altitude.
So say we all.
Slow him down. I don't want to go too slow, because I definitely want to close to range. So we'll kind of have these two guys perfectly on top of each other, but hopefully far enough back where the enemy doesn't collide with us. You can see the enemy's hacking our subsystems as well. This little red dot means the enemy is hacking us, which if you remember the Cylons, you remember that, you know, these are computers, so they're really good at hacking and all sorts of computer warfare. But in order to fight against them, they do have sort of this interesting trait of being able to hack. Now, hacking so far for me hasn't really had a huge impact. It just kind of slowly degrades your capabilities over time. If you don't destroy the enemy that's hacking you fast enough, you could be destroyed yourself, but that's about it. Alright, so let's actually stop facing this way and go ahead and turn toward the enemy. Alright, so we have squadrons as well. We've got Mark 1 Vipers. We're going to go ahead and launch all squadrons. They're launching, and maybe we can zoom in and see them launch in this next turn. There you go. These little blue dots coming out are Vipers. They launched out of each hangar bay, and they're cruising toward somewhere. I didn't really tell them where to go.
Priority targets or defend any of our own capitals. You can recall a squadron back to its carrier if the situation begins to deteriorate.
So these guys kind of seem to do their own thing. Right now they're targeting the one. Oh, well, looks like we destroyed that enemy.
Squadron target is confirmed.
You can also tell a. So like these Vipers, we can go ahead and tell them to defend the Battlestar. So these guys will just kind of hover around the Battlestar and provide protection against it, which is useful when you have enemy missiles incoming. Anyway, so we destroyed that enemy ship really damn quick. I guess that means we need to turn around and go after these other targets. So there we go. Now these guys are hacking us, which these appear to be enemy fighters as well.
Missiles incoming.
Oh no! The Jupiter just got hit by missiles. Alright. It's hacked, which again slowly degrades its systems over time.
So say we all.
Our Vipers are coming in to attack these guys. Can we get a good look at them? Can we zoom in? Yeah, sort of. So we can see these little blue stars. We can't really zoom in to get a really good look at them. All these little dots represent a fighter. This little green thing represents sort of a overall view of the fighter. These small enemy craft, war driver squadrons are hacking us, and our Battlestar just got hit by some missiles, but it's pretty damn big, so I think it's able to take the damage. We'll kind of direct our Battlestar toward these unidentified contacts. We've got one. Oh, there you go. So our Battlestar is shooting its cannons against the enemy. And actually, these are its front cannons are really the main battery here. So we're actually shooting our forward cannons at an enemy target directly in front of us. And our secondary batteries are shooting off at this other guy. Meanwhile, our other two corvettes are coming in. The Battlestar is actually hacked now. The one thing is these forward-firing cannons, while they're very destructive, they're not very accurate. You can see almost every shot is missing its target.
Commander, I've asked Sinan if there is any way we can stop those Cylon tech ships from hacking our systems, but he's being stubborn.
Okay.
We've already minimized onboard networking. Your firewall should keep them out for a while. Otherwise,
I don't know how moddable Battlestar Galactica Deadlock is, Captain. I'm not sure.
Or you can rely on the tried and tested method of shooting the Cylons down before they get the chance. Battlestars are equipped to accommodate flak ammunition. Use this to zone out fighters and incoming munitions.
Yeah, it's just telling me what I kind of already told you, that Battlestars can use flak to destroy the enemy. I'm not gonna do flak. I don't really feel like doing flak at all. But you could. Alright, we're gonna fire some guided missiles at these fools. Alright, what's his shields? They're pretty much 100%. Alright. these guys are going to fire guided missiles at him.
Missile tubes prepped.
You fire guided missiles at him. Alright, so again, this is kind of getting at slightly more complex battles, but certainly nothing crazy yet. The Vipers are kind of coming in. Alright, so our Battlestar missiles got to him. Now the other missiles are getting to him. And I assume once these missiles that our other Corvette fired hit this guy, he'll be destroyed. Close. There he is. He's going down. And he's gone, I think. Yep, blown up.
Manticore is taking damage. Pycon Intel just confirmed that Admiral McKinley died in the attack on Fleet HQ. With
Admiral McKinney's dead, Sarkis is missing, Kane is the commander of the fleet.
McKinley was a good commander.
What happens when you lose Battlestar and Death Captain? I don't know. I haven't lost one yet.
So say we all.
I will let you know once I figure out. Alright, so we destroyed the one enemy. Apparently I just collided with my own ship. As I was paying close attention here, you can see we just had our Jupiter Battlestar collide with our Manticore Corvette. I'm brilliant and smart. So that's awesome. So there we go. Blowing our own ships apart by crashing them into each other. And on that note, guys, I'm going to go ahead and jump in here. This is very much my first impressions of Battlestar Galactica Deadlock, which again is a new game out by Matrix and Slitherine Games, made by Black Lab Games. Everything I've played so far, I'm really enjoying it. I am a bit of a Battlestar Galactica fan. I watch the Reimagined series pretty regularly, and I don't generally watch a lot of TV shows. But yeah, this has been my first impressions. My first impressions are very positive, and this was taken again from a live stream from just yesterday. So hope you guys enjoy the video. Let me know your thoughts below. I do plan to play this campaign out, and we'll see where this leads us. With that being said, guys, again, hope you enjoyed, and until next time, this is the Historical Gamer saying thank you for watching, and I'm out.